What would you guys say is the biggest issue that you're hearing about in Orange County right now? Homelessness. And what's that? Yeah. And the interesting thing about that issue is that issue squarely falls on the County Board of Supervisors. They're the ones that have all the resources to deal with the issue. And not only that, even though cities do have a part to play, we need a county solution. Cities cannot implement solutions on their own, because what happens is homeless people migrate to those areas when cities do more than the surrounding communities, and so we need a county-wide solution. And one of the things that we learned recently was that our County Board of Supervisors had $700 million sitting there that they did nothing with to solve the problem. Meanwhile, we had people dying on the streets. We know women have been sexually assaulted. I've actually met many homeless and heard their stories, and it's heartbreaking when you hear about them. And we know that the lack of the board's decision-making also affects children. I don't know if you guys were following the story of the family in Garden Grove that died in their van from asphyxiation from carbon monoxide. We didn't hear the full story when that first hit the news, but what we later learned was that 2 of those individuals were children young enough to still be wearing diapers. So our community failed those individuals. I think that, as you all probably agree, we can do a much better job. And the first thing that we can do is we can free up those funds that are available, the $700 million, and start to move the ball forward. Move the ball rolling, right? And we know that more recently, in recent months, the county board has made some decisions, but the reality is the only reason they've been making those decisions is because they've been forced to by a federal judge, Judge David Carter. So he's been in the news quite a bit lately too. And I'll tell you, when I get on the Board of Supervisors, it will not take a federal judge to get me to do my job. We deserve better than that in Orange County. And we need to start engaging the community. We need for our Board of Supervisors or our individual supervisors to come to meetings like this. We need for them to engage the advocacy groups. And most importantly, we need them to engage with the city governments. So one of the big decisions that would have impacted many of you as well as residents in Huntington Beach is that the county board had voted on these encampments. They wanted to put 3 encampments throughout the county. One was in, was it Laguna Niguel? Yeah, and one in Huntington Beach and the other one in Irvine. So I'm more familiar with the Huntington Beach site because I live near it. It happens to be a former waste dump that is seeping methane, so it's not suitable for human existence. And it also happens to be cut off from any county services and transportation. So when our county board takes these measures to move people around, what it really shows is an insensitivity for everybody in the community, not just the residents of that community, but also for the homeless. Because what many people don't know is that most homeless, the vast majority of homeless individuals actually do have jobs. And a lot of them work for Disneyland. A lot of them work in the hospitality industry in Santa Ana and their surrounding communities. So there's a reason why they've chosen to settle in the riverbed. And when we start moving them around in a county that doesn't have a good transportation system, what we do is we create a worse situation for those individuals than what they're already in. And then what happens is they become a nuisance because then they have no resources at all to support themselves.